Well, good morning, folks. We're inside of building 14, inside one of the garages. Let me pull this off to the side so you can see it by itself. This is part of the Hambro floor system that I've been talking about quite a bit. It's called the spreader bar. You can see why. You can spread it. Late yesterday, the framers came in, installed. This is the Hambros here, and solid steel. And those little ovals at the top, okay? Those little ovals at the top is where this end of the spreader bar goes in, and then the other one goes in that side. And of course, they could spread them. You'll see them installed later, but this is the floor system. The first time I saw this about 15 years ago, these long spans, you can't tell from here, but there is a slight bow to them. When I first saw it, I was like, no way. That means there's going to be a bow in the second floor slab. But not what the engineers say, because when you put 4 inches of 3,000 psi concrete on top of here, the deflection straightens it out and makes it super strong. And so the spreader bars are going to go in between each one of these spans, and they're going to be supporting plywood, which we got tons of out front. All this angle iron still got to be installed, but they just set them last night, and they're faster than cheetahs on jet skis. They've been doing this for so long. And so what happens, these spreader bars will all be installed, and then plywood will be set above the spreader bars. And then we have to prep that slab up there just like we would a normal slab. And then when we pour the concrete, those pieces of plywood hold the concrete up there. And then after it cures, we take the spreader bars out, and then they just pull all the plywood off. And so you'll see later that when you're on the first floor looking up at the slab, what will be the slab above, it looks like the imprint of plywood, because it is. Over here on building 15, we have RGM guys continue along with slab preparation. All the heavy digging's been done. The footers are dug. Let's walk on up here. And what the footers are is all of the bearing points where the load is going down to the soil. So we dig them down from the forms down. You got 2 rows of steel in here. These extra footers, I call them cages. They're detailed in the prints, in the blueprints, where we need a little extra reinforcement here. If we're lucky, I can go for inspection tomorrow on this slab prep. If I do, I might have to ask the inspector if he can come by in the afternoon. Sometimes the inspectors are real helpful that way. And over on building 13, we failed insulation inspection, but it was a good reason to fail. We had a penetration for plumbing that goes from above the first floor to the second floor that had an air gap, and we have to put some fire stop material in there. And so I got to call this in for reinspection for tomorrow, and then we could start hanging sheetrock. Over on building 12, we poured the sidewalks and the AC pads. All the trim carpenters are finished. And by the way, for those of you looking for careers, if you got young ones out there, if you think, trim carpenters are very special people, and they like to be respected. But like, if you wanted to grow up and be, say, a lawyer, well, you got to get up at like 6:30 in the morning every day. Now, if you want to be a doctor, you've got to get up at like 5 in the morning. But if you want to be a trim carpenter, you don't have to get up till like 11:30. It's not a bad deal at all. So something for the young folks to think about.